know, it's not usually this dark, but it's probably because the library is due to close any minute now. Really? He suddenly stepped in front of her, and she found herself pressed up against the bookshelf behind her. Flustered, she impulsively brought the book she still held in front of her so that it was between them. An obvious effort to separate them, but when he found futile by the smirk upturning his lips, she blushed harder. So, let's say you and I do a little project together, and we don't need boring books to do it, he whispered, leaning down even closer to her already frazzled form. Goosebumps sprouted once again when his breath fanned her face, his stature looming over hers and his dark eyes taking in her entire being. Butterflies exploded in her gut, and she was grateful of the darkness around them, keeping her fire-truck face hidden. But she was more than certain he would absolutely feel the heat of embarrassment radiating off of her. Just his chiseled jawline, messy dust-blonde hair, toned chest underneath his dark clothing, and just his proximity were enough to drive her crazy. She could have gotten lost in those dangerous dark eyes of his, and she would welcome it. However, just as he was going in for a kiss, and she leaned her head forward as well, her ears, fortunately, or unfortunately to be truly honest, became acutely aware of the shuffling footsteps that she immediately put to the old librarian. In an instant, she was out from under her boyfriend and trying to compose herself before the old lady walked out from behind a nearby bookshelf. The woman greeted the two of them and reminded them the library was closing, and she nodded respectfully. She went off to gather her things from the table and returned her last book to the thankful librarian, all while her boyfriend scowled silently behind her and kept that way until they walked through the doors. "Donovan, are you okay?" She turned to him in concern, trying to catch his eyes that just seemed to refuse to look at her. "I'm fine," he answered, but he definitely was not fine. He then began walking off down the stairs, and she rushed to follow after him, guilt and concern digging into her at his behavior. Did she do something wrong? Oh, yeah, in the library. She blushed again, but turned her eyes back to him and saw only a blank stoic expression facing forward on the path they were walking.